Mayor, we are now live. You can open the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Susan. We certainly want to welcome everyone to the Vinton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday evening, April 6, 2021. So I will call the meeting to order. And Susan, if you would have the roll call for the council, and I understand Anita has one for the Planning Commission. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes.
All right, roll call for council members. Councilmember Lyles,
Here.
Councilmember Mullins,
Here.
Councilmember Stovall,
Here.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here.
We do have a quorum of council. Anita, can you call the roll for Planning Commission?
Ma'am, Commissioner Bendinger, Commissioner Braxton,
Here.
Commissioner Reed,
Here.
Vice Chairman Jones,
Here.
Chairman Lyles.
Here.
Mr. Mayor, we do have a quorum of the Planning Commission.
Okay, thank you.
Town staff that is also present: Pete Peters, Susan Johnson, Ann Cantrell, Chief Drummond, Anita McMillan, and Nathan McClung. Also present, Jeremy Carroll, our town attorney, Debbie Adams with the Vinton Messenger, David Hill with Hill Studio, Tyler McDaniel with Hill Studio, Catherine Sowers, Lois Creasy, Camille Cabanis, Vicki Newbern, who are all with the GFWC Women's Club of Vinton. I would like to confirm that our meeting is being held in accordance with Town Ordinance number 1016 and Section 4-0.01G of Chapter 1289 of the 2020 Acts of the Virginia General Assembly, and everyone present is participating by electronic means. Mayor, the meeting is yours.
All right, thank you very much, and certainly appreciate everyone being here. Nice crowd today. I guess you can use the word crowd when we're on Zoom, but at least we're all here, and that's good. So next couple items, a moment of silence for those of you who may be new to the Vinton Town Council meetings. We use a moment of silence here. That way everyone can pray or have a moment of contemplation as they see fit. I hope you'll pray during this time. I certainly will. If you're going to pray, I would ask you to keep this country, this community, and certainly the council meeting here tonight in your thoughts and prayers. I'll ask you to stand for that in a minute. And while we're standing, we'll ask Council Member Keith Lyles to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So folks, if you can stand for those two items, we would appreciate it. And I will close the moment of silence very shortly, Keith. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for this opportunity to gather this evening. We just pray for your blessing upon this country and upon our community, and I just pray that you'll be with us throughout the meeting tonight. For it is in his holy name we pray. Amen. Keith?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. I know that's it gets a little awkward online sometimes, but I think those are two very important items. So we'll move to the upcoming community announcements and events. Vice Mayor McCarty usually handles that. You have anything this evening, Sabrina?
I do. I have lots of good information to share. April the 10th, which is a Saturday, is Clean Valley Day, roadside cleanup from 9 until noon. If you are not able to participate on that day or at that time, I do ask that you try to participate in some way, shape, or form. March is a windy month, and we've got some areas that need to have attention. Pinnacle Financial, the grounds there, definitely. So my team and I are going to be working on that day. But just to try to keep everything, we've got lots of folks coming into town now to visit, and we definitely want to keep our town clean. So if you can participate that day, if you can get in touch with Anita McMillan, she can help you get set up with that. And like I said, if you can't do it that day, please just try to pick a day that maybe you and your friends, family, church group, anything would be able to just get together and help keep Benton clean. Then we have some exciting news about the Dogwood Festival, which will be 2 days this year. It's April the 23rd and the 24th. And Friday night, there's going to be a concert at the Farmers Market that starts at 6. Well, the gates open at 6 p.m. It is a $5 gate admission. There is food trucks and beverages available, and Fuzzy Logic and Mended Fences will be playing. On Saturday from 10 until 4, we'll have our craft show downtown Benton, entertainment at the municipal buildings from our local performers from 10 until 2. And then, of course, the crowning of the Queen at 10 at the municipal building stage. The Farmers Market stage will get fit in Benton with a yoga, line dancing, etc. from 11. And then the mayor will not miss the car show at Benton Baptist Church parking lot from 10 until 2, I'm sure. And Saturday night at, at the Farmers Market, there's going to be the showing of The Lion King at dusk. So I hope y'all join me there. I'm a little kid at heart and I'll be there. So we've had such a good turnout for our movies that we've done previously. So I'm sure that this one will be just as fun. There is free popcorn and water that we would like to thank Benton Baptist Church for donating. And also on April the 29th, Glade Creek Greenway ribbon cutting and Arbor Day tree planting at 9 a.m. and this will be behind Billy Bird. And then not to go too far into May, but just so that you will have it on your radar and you can start talking it up. On May the 15th, the Veterinary Chamber of Commerce will have the grapes and grains. The location is to be determined, but it will be from 1 until 6. And so if you need additional information, please get in touch with the chamber by email, or you can call the chamber office, which is 343-1364. And that's all I have, but I want to thank Chastity, because look, she sent it to me, all of this update on this beautiful little flower paper. So thank you, Chastity, for helping me make sure that I do not miss anything tonight. So if no one else has anything else, then I think that's it tonight, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Vice Mayor. We appreciate that information. Are there any other announcements anyone would like to make? No?
Just a question, Mayor, for the chief. For the movie night, is Caldwell popping the popcorn?
We can make that arrangement. I believe he's here in the building somewhere.
I'm
He
sure
has
if it,
experience.
He certainly does. He'll be happy when I say that.
since it's free, I'm sure Keith and Mike will both be there, so. Sabrina, you just, yes.
May I make one comment? Bob Benninger just joined us for the record, so
Oh.
he is now present.
All right, welcome, Bob. Glad you're here. So,
Thank you. I've been trying to get on for 15 minutes.
Oh,
technology is great when it's working, but sometimes it's a challenge. Sabrina, you mentioned something I'd just like to kind of reiterate concerning the Clean Valley Day. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town for that particular date, but like you said, we can participate later. So some of us have committed ourselves to doing just that. I think it's a really important time. We've had a lot of trash blowing around. It's been so windy and everything. So we've got some areas we need to clean up. So we certainly appreciate everyone's help in that effort. You guys may recall years ago, I think the World's Fair was going on in Tennessee, but Virginia had this great motto called Clean Up Virginia, Companies Coming. And it's, you mentioned a lot of people coming to Vent now, and that's applies to our town. I think we have a lot of folks coming into town, so we need to clean up a little. So thank you for mentioning that. Okay, I believe the next item is a request to postpone or change anything on the order of the agenda. Are there any requests tonight? Okay, hearing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. And tonight it has the minutes of the regular meeting of March 2nd, 2021. Are there any changes or additions? If not, we will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make that
I'll make
motion.
a, I'll second.
Okay, Susan, did you get a couple of motions there?
I did.
Okay, good. All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye and waving or something. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Then we'll move on to what I consider to be the best part of the meeting, the part I enjoy most, and that's our awards and presentations. And tonight we have a very special presentation and a proclamation as well. And I'll ask Councilmember Lori Mullins to read the proclamation a little later. But first, I want to call on Catherine, and you can put me in the right direction here. Catherine, did you have a few words tonight, or is there another representative of your club want to speak?
No, I seem to have been elected to do this tonight.
Congratulations.
Even though our club president is present. She said, you do it. Right, Lois? My own?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. On behalf of the GFWC Women's Club of Benton and the Benton Police Department, we would like to thank the town of Benton for allowing us to plant our blue and silver pinwheel garden. And thanks to Chief Drummond, Sergeant Caldwell, Sergeant Hurt, Corporal Capman, and Officer Holland for partnering with our club members and with the planning that took place on April the 2nd to promote National Child Abuse Awareness Prevention Month. We also want to thank Mayor Gross, Vice Mayor McCarty, Councilman Stovall, Susan Johnson, Donna Collins, and Mandy Baker for helping us plant the pinwheel garden. At this time, I want to tell you just a little bit about the General Federation of Women's Clubs as we celebrate 130 years of service and volunteering. In all 50 states and more than a dozen countries, our members work locally to create changes. GFWC Club women are mothers, sisters, wives, daughters, doctors, teachers, CEOs, and community leaders who are dedicated to enhancing the lives of others through volunteer service. Similar gardens have been planted all across the United States, including our organization's headquarters in Washington, D.C., during April, which is Child Abuse Awareness Prevention Month. Every year, club women raise awareness of child abuse and promote healthy childhoods by planting these pinwheel gardens. Prevent Child Abuse introduced the pinwheel in 2008 as the official symbol of great childhoods. The pinwheel reminds us of our own childhoods and the fact that all children deserve to be happy and healthy. In addition, GFWC has earned a reputation as a powerful force in the fight against domestic violence. GFWC adopted as our signature project to work in bringing hope to victims and survivors of domestic violence and abuse. Each year, over 4.1 million referrals are made to child protection agencies involving 7.4 million children. A report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds, and neglect is the #1 form of abuse. GFWC members care because we all play a role in children's lives and because the cost is way too high. We must step up stand up, speak up, and report it. Together, we can prevent child abuse because childhood lasts a lifetime. Again, we would like to thank the town of Vinton for allowing us to observe Child Abuse Awareness Prevention Month by displaying the pinwheel garden and banners in the municipal building flower gardens, and the Vinton Police Department for partnering with us. And a special thanks to our partner for the newly designed banners. The Pinwheels for Prevention campaign provides a unique opportunity for all of us to work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, nurturing environment. Prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. We this year and last year have added support and encouraged the awareness of autism by wearing blue for World Autism Awareness Day, which was April the 2nd. This day is about celebrating and recognizing people on the autism spectrum, as well as researching and fundraising initiatives, which promote the inclusivity for all people with autism. The world's understanding of autism as a disorder has changed drastically over time. Until the second half of the 20th century, only people with severe symptoms were diagnosed with autism, and those who were diagnosed were often institutionalized. Autism way back was believed to be a result of poor parenting and vaccines, which we know is not true. Thankfully, special events such as the Power of One March, awareness campaigns at schools, and autism self-advocacy have increased the world's understanding and acceptance. In 2007, the organization Autism Speaks created Autism Awareness Day. The UN passed a resolution to adopt the holiday, and in 2008, the day was celebrated worldwide, as it has been ever since. On April the 2nd, we celebrated the members of our communities, families, and world who live with autism for their diversity and unique talents. And to close, all children deserve great childhoods because our children are our future. Thanks for helping us as we are building community, building hope.
Thank you, Catherine, very much for those comments. And although some of that information is quite disturbing, we do appreciate you making us aware of some of the sad situations that exist. And I also want to thank you and your club, all of your members, for working so hard on this. I know year in and year out, you folks make an effort to increase the awareness of abuse, and now you've taken on the autism situation also. So thank you folks very much for what you're doing. And I can say for one, and I think I can speak for all of us that was there that afternoon, that it was an honor to join you folks in an effort to increase the awareness of child abuse and child. With that, I'll read a question this evening. Are you with us?
Oh, sorry, I think I'm freezing up. Hold on one second. I can see everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Whereas the health and safety of all citizens is important to the prosperity and well-being of our families and communities. I'm sorry. Am I breaking up?
I think the mayor lost connection.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
Whereas our children are our most valuable resource and will shape the future of the Benton community. And whereas child abuse is considered to be one of our nation's most serious public health problems, and the majority of child abuse cases stem from situations and conditions that are preventable in an engaged and supportive community, And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and how we can prevent it, because prevention remains the best defense for our children. And whereas displaying pinwheels during the month of April will serve as a positive reminder that together we can prevent child abuse and neglect and keep our children safe. And whereas the partnership between the General Federation of Women's Clubs, Vinton Women's Club, and the Vinton Police Department have worked together to raise awareness and promote the prevention of child abuse in our community. Now, therefore, I, Bradley E. Gross, Mayor of the Town of Vinton, and on behalf of Town Council and all of our citizens, do hereby recognize the month of April 2021 as National Child Abuse Prevention Month in the Town of Vinton, and call upon all citizens of the Town of Vinton and surrounding areas to work together to prevent child abuse. In witness whereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the Town of Vinton, Virginia, to be affixed on the 6th day of April 2021.
Mayor, you're muted.
Brad, you're
Brad, you're mute.
muted.
Susan, did you lock his mute button on purpose?
I did not. I did ask to unmute. There we go. You there?
Okay, there you
Got
go.
it.
Sorry. I thought maybe Keith told you to do that, so. No. Again, thank you folks in the club for all you're doing. We certainly appreciate it. And Lori, thank you for reading the proclamation. With that, we'll move to our public hearing for this evening, one of two public hearings. The first is to consider and take public comments regarding the petition of the Town of Vinton to rezone the historic Gishmill properties. And so I will officially open the public hearing, and we will start with a report from staff. I think Nathan's going to do that. After that, we'll ask for public comments and give council and the planning commission an opportunity to comment also. So Nathan, if you would please, sir.
Sir, good evening, Mayor, members of council, and members of the Planning Commission. I'm going to share my screen with the presentation for tonight. This PowerPoint will be really, and this presentation will be really familiar because the, it covers a lot of the same information that was covered during the first briefing on March 16th, and then also the Planning Commission had a work session in March as well on the 25th. The nature of this request is from the town. We are the petitioner. We are requesting to rezone the historic Gishmill properties from M1 limited industrial to MUD mixed use development. And this will accommodate for a mixed use property that will have a restaurant, a retail component, residential component, and lodging uses. And also I'd like to mention one of the members of the development team, the Gishmill Davi Group, David Hill. He's on this call. He's present in the meeting. And if you have any questions related to the development, feel free to ask, and either I or him can help. And also his employee, Tyler McDaniel, is also here, who has helped a lot with the building plans and the schematics that you'll see later tonight. The timeline of the events, as you may know, the town purchased the property in 2015 because of its historic significance. An RFP was issued in order for the building to be redeveloped, in which the Gishmill Davi Group responded, and the town entered a contract with them based on what their request for proposal, which included a pro forma and their vision for redeveloping this historic but blighted property into a new bustling property with a lot of adaptive uses that use the historic aspects of the building and its location in really profitable ways that will really cause a great experience both for Vinton residents and visitors, as we were talking about earlier tonight. We have two grant funds currently. The DHR grant includes monies for repair and stabilization work, and that was $250,000. And then we also attained a grant that's actually in the form of a loan that will go through our EDA. That's from DHCD for $468,750. Just an update on the timeline. This is one major key that has occurred in the past week. The BZA approved the variance requests from certain regulations in the floodplain ordinance last week, which was a huge milestone in this project. Of course, a lot of that information based in that meeting was based on more of the scientific aspects of it not causing a rise and it not causing any undue harm to the public. And based on the H&H study from Draper Aiden, no rise will occur from the redevelopment activities to occur on the property. So that was passed 5-0 by our Board of Zoning Appeals. Of course, the current event right now is at the public hearing. Some general information on the property. Hopefully you've been able to go out to it. And once the building is scaffolded and stabilized and in a safe state for multiple people to go through, we'd like to have you all come out and see the building before, and then you'll have an idea of what its current condition is beyond just the pictures you'll see tonight. But it's a property mostly comprised of impervious surfaces with the existing parking lot and structures or locations where structures used to be located. And of course, it's located in the regulatory floodway and special flood hazard area, serving its historic purpose as a mill. It can be accessed from Gus Nix and West Madison Avenue. And concerning West Madison Avenue, this project has the potential to even improve the public parking along that street. Currently, there's some parking spaces along there, but with the increased capacity in that corridor, it's definitely going to be needed to have some more off-site parking. So we have that opportunity as well. To the north is the creek, and it's right on the jurisdictional bounds between the city and the town. To the west is the Billy Bird Apartments, which is currently zoned mixed-use development. And the Billy Bird Apartments opened, and between 80 and 90 units, and it was a real successful redevelopment project that also went through this rezoning process. Also utilized historic tax credits, just like this project will do also. And then also there's going to be a future business flex space in the annex building over near where the buses and that gas station are located. To the southeast is Shalane's. It's a clothing embroidery place, and then also a sign manufacturing business, Save On Signs. And it's currently zoned M1 Limited Industrial, which is what Gish Mill currently is zoned, but with the mixed use development being proposed, it wouldn't be allowed in the current M1 Limited Industrial District, which calls to the need of this rezoning process. And this is just a quick map showing you, it's a proximity to Gus Nix Boulevard. Here's Shalane and Save On Signs, and Billy Bird Apartments over here, and the future Glade Creek Greenway Phase 2A, which will be completed this month, will also be accessed. You'll see from the site plans. This shows where the structure is located within the regulatory floodway. The hatch marks is the floodway, and then the blue area is the 100-year floodplain, also known as the special flood hazard area, also known as the 1% annual chance flood hazard area. But you'll realize that, and you've already been briefed, that the design of this takes into account this risk, and we have gone through every scientific and regulatory process to ensure that this building will be safe and will reduce risk both to the developer and the adjoining properties in the public. As I said earlier, there's no rise will occur based on the study from Draper Aiden. And also the variance passed last Tuesday on March 30th, 2021, 5-0. Also, we didn't receive any public comments on this to date. Officially, we did receive a comment from Butch Workman with Verona County. He's the stormwater operations manager and the county flood engineer. And he wanted to give a positive affirmation that the H&H study was adequate and that he looks forward to the future building plans. Here are some pictures that we've all seen, and hopefully one day we can get everyone to go on a tour of the building. It's really unique. There's been a lot of additions over the centuries, but the main core historic components are really unique shape. And I mean, the there's parts of the building that definitely need to be repaired, but overall it mainly is structurally sound and it's constructed very well. Here's the inside. There is the basement where the speakeasy will go. There's the original mill structure, which we're calling the cube. It's like that main cube of the building that was the original structure built in the 1800s. There's the back where the historic sluice was located. And then there's the broken up dam in the creek. So the overall intended use will be to have the original mill structure and the concrete silos and upper floors to be used for either short-term. We're going to remain pretty flexible depending on what works best for our community, but those units can either be short-term rentals or long-term apartments. But the development team will have to see where that demand is. Currently in town, there are no short-term lodging options, so this will be the first. There's definitely going to be units there for uses like VRBO and Airbnb, so that'll be an added benefit. There'll be a speakeasy in the basement, a small restaurant that spans the building on certain portions of the additions in the original mill structure, which includes the bar and the kitchen, the back of house, and then also a seasonal market that could potentially also serve some kind of novelty or like ice cream, candy, and other local goods. These are the square footage you can see of each of the components, and you'll see better on the site plans the way they compare to the size of the building. This is the site plan we went over in previous meetings. I'll just zoom in real quick. You can see this is dining on this portion of the building. Here's the kitchen, the toilets, the back of house, and here's the market space. Out here is where that non-historic portion, this triangular, will be removed. And what's denoted here is actually where some form of stream restoration and stabilization work will need to take place to protect this investment, because you can see the bank eroding. And even in light of the Roanoke City Stream Bank Restoration Project that will occur along here, they're not doing improvements to the southern portion of the creek. The project won't adversely affect this side of the property or this side of the creek. However, currently it's in a state where it does need to be stabilized in some manner. So that's one portion that will also need to take place. As you see, this is the large deck area. Here is the original concrete silo that will be converted into lodging units or apartments. And then this structure spans 3 stories, which you'll see here in a second. Another cool thing that was brought up during the BZA meeting that wasn't mentioned in the previous meetings is that there's going to be around approximately 41 to 44 flood vents put throughout this entire building, which will allow for what is called wet flood proofing techniques to take place. So the basement being so far under the ground is definitely, if there's a huge flooding event, will get wet, and there'll have to be a way to pump it out. But in terms of actual flow and reducing hydrostatic forces on the walls, these flood vents that are put strategically throughout the building will allow the water to flow through the building in the case of a 100-year flooding event, because there is, of course, it being in a floodplain, it is below that baseline elevation. The developer, of course, is going to take precautions such as elevating the utilities, using things like waterproof insulation, having all the equipment that's really expensive and crucial to the function of the business being protected in many formats, and also making sure that all the plumbing utilities have fixtures on them to prevent backups and either water getting into them or water coming out of them from a sewage backup that may occur during a flooding event. But everything is being, their architect team at Hill Studio is looking at this from all angles, both from a design standpoint and a flood risk and safety standpoint. And another unique aspect that was brought up is, if you can see where my cursor is, there's talk about having sliding doors installed right where my cursor is. So say the restaurant wasn't operating at the time, you could still have the market open and people could still come and use the restrooms. Or vice versa, say the market's not operating, but the dining space and the other areas of the building are operating. You can have a door right here that will close off the market to the public, but will leave the rest of the place open for people and patrons to access. So I'm going to go through just some schematics that show some 3D modeling of the building from different angles. See, this is facing above the bridge on Gus Nicks, looking towards the creek. There's a large decking area with a bar and the use of garage doors. Another angle of the deck. This is, of course, not a historic portion of the building, specifically what's being added, but in order to have a stairwell and to have a fire escape and have access to the lodging units, this will be installed for the stairwell. But if you see right here, there's like a large original tall parapet or facade that would block this non-historical portion. So that's working with DHR and the rules about historic preservation. Since this will be hidden, it's kind of, I mean, it's really genius to have it hidden behind that facade that's currently on the building and tucked away. Here's some schematics of the deck overlooking the creek. Here's the inside of the building. Here's just a general site plan. It shows the back of house, screen and porch, the dining, banquet area. And here's the speakeasy, really easy plan that this area is made to get wet. It's going to be really minimal. Use a lot of use of concrete and flood-proof materials. Here's the second floor with the units 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Here's the rest of the units on the third floor. Also keep in mind that the developers and the architects are using, they're building, of course, the sleeping quarters are going to be way above any form of flood level, but they're even beyond the regulatory base flood elevation that FEMA provides. They're using even a greater buffer above that when they're designing this building, just to be extra safe in the case of a flooding event like the flood of '85. The building would be designed in such a way to be able to withstand the forces of that and to be able to quickly be cleaned and not be destroyed from the hydrostatic pressures of the water. Here's a side elevation, more cross sections. So the comprehensive plan designates property and the surrounding property as general commercial. And of course, this does match that future land designation. As you can see across the street with the Billy Bird Apartments and the property where the Greenway is, it was rezoned in its future land designation was changed in 2016 to incorporate parks and rec, community facilities, and high density residential uses, which it currently is, it has the recreational component, has the high density residential and community facilities to come for as well. And they had to go through this rezoning process, very similar to this. With that, the staff concludes that we approve this proposed rezoning to allow for this accommodation of uses. And we find that it's consistent with the adjoining properties and it will improve that corridor. And it really is cohesive with the rest of the development and current uses and existing land uses that are along that portion of the town of Benton. So we find this will be a really beneficial redevelopment project. It's one of the most important historical structures in the town. There's adequate utilities to serve the uses and public facilities already in place. And there's also, projected to have a lot of benefits in terms of the creation of jobs and giving new life to this building. So, any your questions, that is the presentation tonight.
Okay, Nathan, thank you very much for that presentation. And I thought your comment earlier was actually right on the mark. it's a presentation that many of us are very familiar with, but thank you for that information. And at this time, we will receive public comments. Susan, have you received any comments in your office?
No, Mayor, no comments or requests.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone in the meeting tonight have any comments? If not, we'll move on to the comments by the Planning Commission as well as the Town Council. I'll start with Town Council. Council, you have any comments concerning this project and the rezoning?
Just a quick comment. This is our third time, I think, or my third time seeing this presentation for being on the Planning Commission as well. And looking forward to getting past all of these necessary steps so we can let Dave do what he does best and get to work.
That's right. That's right. I agree.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to say right now to Dave and to everybody, so far, job well done. You know, it's got the biggest thing that we want, which is a buzz. It's going to transform an entrance into the town of Benton. It's going to give people the opportunity to see what a true good development can do with a piece of property that really looks terrible. And you know, to be able to actually, for somebody to be able to take it on is huge, because I mean, a lot of people have shied away from that because of the floodplain, and just like Nathan, you know, talked about. But thank y'all very much for coming into the town. I mean, we know you've been there, but I mean, thank you for taking that on, and I mean, it's going to be exciting. Bottom line.
All right. Any other council members? Well, I just very briefly will add my comment, and that is basically I agree with the two gentlemen who just spoke. I think it's really, really exciting project, very important for the town of Benton, and certainly one of our main gateway entrances, and just a really exciting project. We're blessed to have these gentlemen in town and willing to make this kind of investment. And with that, we'll move to the Planning Commission. Anita, did you or any of the commissioners have a comment this evening?
I don't have any, unless any planning commission have any comment.
Okay.
I'm glad to see that I know the council's taken a lot of heat on this project for, first of all, buying and funding it, that, you know, a lot of people just said, well, just tear it down. Well, once it would have been torn down, that'd been the end of it. And I think this is great that we all had the foresight to see that good things could come of this. It's not easy and it's not inexpensive, but this is an important part of town. First thing that you see, if you look at our town's emblem, it's part of that. So, and it's been there forever. So I'm pleased that where we're at now.
Yes. Thank you, Dave. Anyone else?
And Mayor, just as part of the Planning Commission as well, when we had our briefing on this, I made a comment, and I'd like to make the same comment here. Pete in our meeting had mentioned that, you know, back in, I want to say 2016, or maybe before around 2016, when we had the open house at the War Memorial for Roland E. Cook, and everyone got to view what was going on with Roland E. Cook and the excitement there. And we got to see David Hill's plan for Roland E. Cook. And I mentioned in our Planning Commission meeting that whoever was the genius on the staff of the town of Benton that asked David Hill to just, if he would, just draw up some conceptual drawings to what this could be, knowing that probably in the back of their mind that he would draw them up and fall in love with the property. And he drew them up and sat back and waited on someone to bite. And whoever that person was that got him to do it knew that if nobody bit, David Hill would come through and make this happen. So whoever that genius is, I'm not sure right off, and I'm going to find out who it is, and we keep them forever, along with David Hill.
Well,
I'd like to know in the comments section how we use the word genius. I mean, how is that being used? But anyway, I guess we got to use it.
well, I will say this, we have to give Anita a lot of credit. You know, she has worked diligently on this project and worked closely with David, and we're just fortunate to have David in town. He's been good for Benton. And well, one detail I might mention, because it was brought up earlier about council taking some heat about this, just to clarify some rumors, and actually to correct them, the total investment that we made was $126,000. That included all the legal fees and the whole thing. I think we paid like 124.5 or something like that, but it was about 126,000. And now we are going to have this awesome project. So I think it was a good investment at the time. And not only just financially, that's such an important part of town. That's as I mentioned earlier, one of our gateways, and it's just really going to set the good tone for the town. So we're fortunate that this project is moving in the right direction. I'm very, very thankful for that. I appreciate all the work that a lot of folks have done on this. So, okay, any other comments? If not, I will officially close the public hearing, at least the town council portion of it. And Anita, I guess we'll turn it over to you for the planning commission.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, do you have any motion from the planning commission regarding the rezoning request?
I'll make a motion to recommend the motion to town council for approval of the resolution.
Do we have a second?
I would
I'll
second.
second.
that.
I'm sorry, is that Ms. Reed or Mr. Jones? Or both of?
I think both.
Well, I will put, well, I'll put both or whatever, you know, we can just put Mr. Jones as a second. Okay, Commissioner Bendinger,
Yes.
Commissioner Braxton,
Yes.
Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jones,
Yes,
Chairman Lyles.
Yes.
Thank you. So the motion is for the planning commission make a recommendation for town council to approve the rezoning. Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. Mayor.
thank you very much. Certainly appreciate the recommendation from the planning commission. So council, you have before you a ordinance, yes, an ordinance which would in fact approve the rezoning of the Gish's Mill property from M1 to multiple use. And of course, you've heard the presentation and recommendation from the planning commission. So first of all, is there any further discussion or comment? If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept as presented.
Okay.
I'll
All right,
second.
All right, we have a motion by the vice mayor to approve the rezoning. I think I heard several there. Lori, I believe you made a second, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll go with that. Susan, if you would call the roll, please.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes, thank you very much. And Anita, did you have to make any other Did you have to do anything else to close the planning commission, or is that sufficient?
Mr. Mayor, I guess I will call a motion, if that's a motion to adjourn for the planning commission.
Second. No, I'll make a motion, or if someone else wants to, I'll second it. I thought you just made it. I'm sorry, Anita.
No, so, Mr. Last, do you make a motion to adjourn the planning commission?
Yep.
Any a second?
I'd second that.
Is that Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Benninger,
Yes.
Commissioner Braxton,
Yes.
Commissioner Reed,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Jones,
Yes.
Chairman Laws.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Anita. Jeremy, I guess we got through that okay. Lot of moving
All
parts.
good.
Yeah, a lot of moving parts there tonight. So thank you, folks. We certainly appreciate it. All right, we'll move on to our next public hearing, which regards setting the real estate, personal property, and machinery and tools tax rates for the calendar year of 2021. So I will officially open the public hearing. And as usual, we will entertain a report from staff. And I understand you have that for us.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and members of council. Good to see you all virtually tonight. The Town of Fenton's real estate assessment, less new construction, has increased this year. It's approximately 4.85%. To give you a high level of the assessed values for 2021, Town of Fenton properties were about $533 million. In 2020, the properties were $508 million. So that's a total increase of just under $25 million. The new construction this year was $287,000. So our net increase was about $24.5 million in assessed value. So how this relates to the tax levy, in 2021, it would be $373,000. Last year, that was $355,000. So our net increase this year from the assessment increase would be $17,459. It's not as much as you would think with that big of a percent, but it's still great to see. Just to give you a little bit of context here, the rate adjustment actually doesn't really correlate into an increase on the percent, the 7 cents versus 6 cents. So if you decided to drop to 6 cents, you would actually lose $36,000 of revenue compared to last year. So it doesn't, the percentage calculation does not change your tax rate calculation. So we have advertised in the Benton Messenger on March 4th. Because of the percent, we did have to give a 30 days notice. We have not received any comments in our office. I'll turn it over to Susan in a second to see if she has received any. But staff would recommend keeping the same rates, which would be 7 cents per 100 on real estate, and the personal property tax rate is $1 per 100.
Okay.
So Susan, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Ann, for that report. Susan, have you received any comments in your office concerning this item?
No comments and no request to speak.
Okay, thank you. And just to make sure I'm straight on this, we certainly are not increasing the tax rate. It's just because the property values increased. Is that the bottom line?
Correct, yes.
Thank you for those of us who sometimes get lost in all the numbers. Thank you for that. Council, any questions, comments, discussion?
Property value going up is a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, the new construction, can't wait to see what that looks like around this time next year.
Yeah, no kidding. That's a good point. Good point. Okay, if there are no comments, then I will officially close the public hearing. Council, you have before you an ordinance which would set the real estate tax rate for the calendar year 2021, as we have discussed. Is there a motion? Or first of all, any discussion? No? Is there a motion?
Also move the motion.
Okay. We have a motion by Councilman Stovall. Did I hear a second?
Second by Councilman Lyles.
There you go. Susan, if you would call roll, please.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins.
You're mute, Lori.
You're muted, Lori. That's okay.
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Ordinance passes. Thank you, folks. Council, you have another ordinance before you, which would set the personal property tax rate for the calendar year of 2021, as we have heard described. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to accept or to consider the adoption of the ordinance.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Lyles. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councilmember Mullins. Any discussion or questions? If not, Susan, please call roll.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. All right, the ordinance passes. Thank you, folks, for that. And with that, we will move on to the next item, which is citizen comments and petitions. Susan, have you received any requests or petitions in your office?
No, Mayor, we received none.
Thank you very much. Does anyone in the meeting have any comments that's not listed on the agenda? No. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to the town attorney section. And Jeremy, I know you all always have a big, long list. I don't see anything for tonight, though.
Anita had a big public hearing tonight, or a couple of them, so I decided to take it easy on you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we're glad you're here with your spiffy looking tie.
Thank
We
you,
are
sir.
glad. Yeah. He's always, even through the pandemic, he's always wore good looking ties. Yeah.
He's nothing like consistency, you know. I'll bet you even wear that tie in your pajamas to bed, right?
No, maybe not that. Maybe not that far into the ties. Maybe not. I do have a new bow tie I'll wear for you sometime, though, Mr. Mayor. So
Good.
Yeah.
I have to break that
bow
out.
tie.
Maybe when we get back together in person, I'll break out the bow tie.
Awesome. I hope that will be real soon. We're working on that. So we'll see. All right. Well, with that, we'll move on to the town manager section. I understand that Pete is tuned in, but since he's on vacation, he's allowed me to do this section for him. And I don't see anything listed for briefings, but we do have to consider a resolution that would set the percentage of the personal property tax relief in the town of Benton. And you're going to fill us in on that?
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mayor. So the Personal Property Tax Relief Act, or you'll probably hear me say the acronym PPTRA, was established in 1998. This is a statewide program that the state would kind of subsidize the locality's personal property tax. And unfortunately, it started and they weren't able to fully fund it. And so in 2006, the amount that each locality was getting was frozen. So that is the same amount that we're getting today is what we received in 2006. So the state gave a few options and we decided to do what most localities around us do, which is a allocation model that bases on historical amounts that we have assessed and received, and we allocate based on a percentage of the assessments that we make. So actually right now, I believe our percentage is a little bit higher than some of our neighbors, which is great, but it's going to consistently drop as assessments go up each year. So the county finance staff, I want to say a big thank you because they assist us in this calculation as they do theirs. They go ahead and plug in the town of Benton and they provide that to us in the spreadsheet. So the percentage this year that we would be recommending to adopt is 53.95%. And this is the percentage that covers anything up to $20,000 in assessed value. So you get that reduced off of your tax bill as basically a subsidy from the state. The 2020 rate, just for reference, was 54.96%. So it's dropped about 1% over last year. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Council, you have any questions for Ann? Ann, thank you for the presentation. Council, you do have before you a resolution which would approve the personal property tax relief rate as Ann has described.
Also move the resolution.
Okay.
I'll
Have a
second.
motion. Okay, motion by Councilmember Stovall, second by, I think it was the Vice Mayor, right?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty. Any further discussion, questions? If not, Susan, if you would call the roll, please.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Thank you, Council. It passes. So Ann, back to you.
Thank you, Mayor. The last item I have tonight is an action item on the town's general fund unassigned fund balance policy. Thank you for hanging with me as we did a briefing last meeting. Tonight, we would like to bring this back to you for formal action. Just a quick review, the big changes in this policy was originally it said it was a 2-month balance of discretionary revenues. We've changed the definition to say budgeted revenues. And then we've also created that as the policy floor. So not to dip below 2 months, but we set a target for the town to achieve a 4-month balance on general fund budgeted revenues. Other than that, most of your definitions had minor tweaks just for clarity, but the policy overall stayed the same. And I would like to state just for the minutes that town staff is going to be working to create policies for other funds and other balances.
Okay. Thank you, Ann. Appreciate that explanation. I might mention, as I often do, but since we have a few folks online, this is another one of those things where we have received a briefing. And as a matter of fact, of course, Mike and I are on Finance Committee, so Mike, I'll give you an opportunity to comment. But this is something we're very familiar with. It's not something that we just show up tonight to vote on, and did a great job at our last meeting explaining all the details. So we're already familiar with this. Mike, did you want to add anything to that?
I do, Brad. Thank you. I just want to say that, naturally as a small business owner, where you succeed in finances, regardless of what kind of finances you're handling, is the creative thinking. And the creative thinking to plan and to set the policies in place. And once again, I have at council or at the finance committee meetings, it is truly interesting to see to you, Ann, and your staff and the work that you do, the creative thinking to understand the finances, what comes in. This pot of dollars may come in right now high, this pot of dollars low, and then you do the creative thinking for the policies. And these are not policies that we're setting just to spend money today. These are truly what I believe as council members that we do, and that is setting legacies for the town that's going to make the financial stability strong. So once again, Brad and I are serving on finance, but once again, my hat's off to the creative thinking.
Absolutely. Good point. I appreciate that, Mike. Okay. Let's see. I guess we need a motion to approve the resolution that would set the new descriptions for general fund balance, unassigned fund balance.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion by Councilmember Stovall. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second by, who was that? Lori?
Me, yes, sir.
Okay, I need to put my earbud back in, right? So we have a second by Councilmember Mullins. Any further discussion or questions? If not, Susan, if you would call roll, please.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Councilmember Stovall,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McCarty,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Okay, the resolution passes. All right, I don't see anything listed for our project updates. Of course, you folks get, on council get an update quite frequently of all the activities in town and our projects. So just because we don't have anything listed yet doesn't mean there's not a lot of information floating around, that's for sure. I don't see any reports from the committees. Under the mayor section tonight, boy, you folks will really be glad to know I don't have a whole lot to say. Can you imagine that? But,
Well,
but I do-
I'm sure Councilmember Lyles will take your time, but go right ahead, Mayor.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, I was gonna say, you hadn't started yet.
Well, there is one thing I would like to comment on. It was mentioned earlier about our Dogwood Festival, and actually a lot of activities that are going on in town. Just so thankful that we have people, volunteers in particular, as well as our staff that work on all those activities. And just tonight, we'll give a big shout out to the Dogwood Festival Committee. I know they've been working hard. It's still a difficult time to plan and execute those kinds of activities. So I think they've done a great job in lining up what I think will be an exciting weekend. So thank you folks for that. And once again, I want to thank our ladies for all the work they do on the Child Abuse Awareness Month. So got a lot of good things going on in town. I'm just thankful to be part of it. And with that, we will turn it over to council. Vice Mayor, you have anything further this evening?
Just wanted to say that I was on town council when we did the gift meal purchase, and I got a lot of comments that were made about our decision making, and I am excited to see where it's going, and I cannot wait to invite those folks to take a little stroll through the mill with me after everything gets taken care of and ready for clients to come in. So I am so looking forward to that. I do want to just mention again that I think Nathan had said that we all may want to watch WSLS tonight so that we can see that report of what everybody is doing in Vinton. And the Dogwood Festival I've shared on my Facebook page, and I'm sure y'all may have as well, but just wanted to remind you that if we can share that as much as possible, a lot of people look at that, and you know, it is a little different this year, which that isn't anything new to us, you know, for the 2020-2021 year. Everything's been different, but just to let folks know that we're definitely gonna be doing something. So get the good news out. So if you guys will help me in sharing that. And that's all.
Good idea. Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that. Councilman Lyles, you have anything further to say?
You know, Mayor, I had a whole lot to say, but just whenever I have the opportunity to prove Mike Stovall wrong, I don't have anything to say tonight.
Please elaborate. Can you elaborate on that for a moment? I mean, is that the genius part? I mean, the genius part. I mean, I can be proved wrong a lot. I'm just asking.
The only thing I was going to say tonight is, you know, there is a lot going on in Benton, and we talk about it every town council meeting. But I tell you what, I've never seen a crane as big as that's at Rosie's, and I've never seen a building be built as fast. And I'll look out my window in the morning, and then about 5 o'clock at night, I look out there, and a whole new section has been built. I mean, that thing is going up extremely fast. They are, I don't know if they're working around the clock, but It is, I can't wait to see what the finished product looks like. And then also the Bank of Potatoes got, like you mentioned, we got 2 steel buildings going up in the town of Benton at the same time. And that's
Yeah.
amazing. But our staffs worked really hard on that, and it shows.
Yeah.
We're really lucky to have the staff that we have, and also to have the excitement and the people that want to come to Benton to do business. So great to be a part of it.
It sure is. It sure is. Thank you, sir. Those are great comments. Councilmember Mullins, you have anything further this evening?
I totally agree with what Keith said, and I'm just happy to be reaping the rewards. I wasn't on council when all the grumbling about Gish's Mill was happening, but I'll be happy to be on the end where all the good things are happening and show it off. And I am just thankful to the staff also. Everybody is so intelligent and hardworking, and it wouldn't run as smoothly without them. So thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Lord. Appreciate your comments. You're right. We have a powerful, powerful staff who really appreciate them. They work hard, no doubt. And with that, we'll move to Councilmember Stovall. You have anything further this evening, Mike?
I do. Thank y'all very much for not spending a lot of time, because I'm going to take every bit of your time to say a lot of stuff right now. Thank you, Mr. Lyles, for calling me a genius earlier in town council meeting. I appreciate that. I first off want to tip my hat, and I do want the record to reflect. Naturally, or as you may know, Councilmember or Keith and I, along with Peter, on the TPO, and we have projects that we have listed for the TPO for funding. And one of the biggest conversation that we had the other day on TPO meeting was where localities were. And a couple localities that came in a little later than others. But I do want to tip my hat, and as y'all very well know, him and I are great friends. But Phil North from Roanoke County, there was $900,000 that he offered back to the TPO, and offered that money back to the TPO because of the time frames of their projects compared to ours. It will give us the opportunity at the next meeting when we vote, because I have talked to some TPO members. It will give us the opportunity to be able to do our Greenway, those 2 projects that we had talked about. So I do take my hat off to him for that. Secondly, the child abuse part of it, you look at that fact of child abuse. I've got a little different perspective than people. I don't mean to offend anybody, but the fact of a parent lost a child, that awareness that you bring to that part of life, not only the murder of a child, but the sexual abuse and all that, you can't do it enough. To me, the punishment is just, is a conversation that naturally I don't want to have. But Mr. Mayor, I do want to say to you, because you started the meeting with talking about country and praying for this country. I have got some close friends that work for the Capitol Police. And as you very well know, I love history. And the Capitol Police has been in its inception since back in like I think it's like 1890 something. They've lost 4 Capitol Police officers in their 4 years of being in the 1800s of starting. 2 of those 4 police officers they've lost since January the 6th of this year. And, having a conversation with one of them the other day, or having a conversation, you just, the 18-year veteran that died. I mean, it's just sad, and praying for those people up there that truly are on the front lines. You don't know what you're going to get every day. And naturally taking our hats off and praying for them. And I do want to take my hat off to you, Sabrina, Mayor Brad, Sabrina, for making that decision for the Gish Mill. I get it. You make those decisions. You got those Monday morning quarterbacks. You got those people that could have thrown the ball better, could have caught the ball better, could have called that play, would have ran it in for 2 points instead of kicking it. But you know what? Y'all made the decision. We had the Gish Mill. Okay, so some people might say you spent too much money. But if you look at David Hill and his group and what they're going to do for us in the town of Benton, it's money well spent. So, I'm like Lori. you know, I wasn't here when that decision was made. I heard the same things in the community that y'all heard, but take my hat off to you. And hey, Sabrina, get that list, invite them to the Gish meal and let them look at it and see that decision that y'all made. So congratulations.
Well, thank you, sir, for those comments. Those are certainly appreciated and well thought out. Mike, I agree with you about the Capitol Police. They certainly deserve our thoughts and prayers also. So, okay. Hey, folks, we did a little work tonight. That's a good thing, right? So, is there anything else to come before council meeting this evening? If not, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll
No
make a
one
motion.
No one wants
Nobody
to go
wants to
home.
do it.
I'm
I'll
sorry.
second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilmember Mullins, second by Councilman Stovall. All in favor of adjournment, please signify by.
Hold on a
turning
minute.
to-
Don't, hold on a minute. Don't confuse me. Don't confuse me.
Oh, was
Don't
it?
confuse me.
Time, Mayor. That's the
Oh.
second time. You know what happens at the third time, don't you?
Okay. I appreciate you guys keeping me straight, man. So the second was by Councilmember Lyles. All right, all in favor can say aye or turn off your computers. Thank you,
Good night.
folks.